This is an interaction class for The Merchant of Venice. Although there had been many students who had been giving impending requests for conducting a class on The Merchant of Venice in bilingual. They wanted the lecture to be in Hindi as well as in English. But before we study The Merchant of Venice, we should first understand that why this book, which has been written 600 years ago, right in 16th century, it's so persistent that it is read throughout the world. Students across the country are eager to read it, and the administration wants the students to have an understanding of it. Now, before we go into Merchant of Venice, we should first understand about its playwright, the greatest dramatist of all times, William Shakespeare. We have heard about Shakespeare right from our plays, right from standard 5th onwards, that he is known as the Bard of Eden. Why so? Because he was born in Stratford upon Avon. Born in 1564, died in 1616. Try to understand the scenario where he was writing it. That when in 16th century, when Tulsidas wrote Ramcharitmanas in India, Shakespeare was writing all those great plays. Now it is not that Shakespeare became the Shakespeare right from the beginning. It took some time for him to become the greatest dramatist of all times. He started with his comedies. It is about treachery. How Hamlet's wife, Gertrude, betrays her husband and marries her own brother-in-law, Claudius, and then it resulted in her greater mistake that resulted into the tragedy. Like in Macbeth, overwhelming ambition. Lady Macbeth wanted Macbeth to be the king instead of Duncan, and that made him to have the tragedy in her life. Othello is about suspicion, and how Othello had a wrong suspicion for his wife that resulted into the tragedy. King Lear is about pride. So all the plays of Shakespeare elevates one particular quality or trait or mistake in the life of human beings that people in those ages really liked. They wanted to learn from their own contemporary times. Shakespeare had grabbed the mastery in attaining it. Shakespeare is all about life, love, drama, treachery, flaws, virtues, vices that made him the genius of all times. Now coming back to The Merchant of Venice. The Merchant of Venice is one of the comedies written by William Shakespeare. If we look, Antonio is the protagonist and Shylock is the antagonist. The closest friend of Antonio is Bassanio, and his friends Graciano and Lorenzo. Apart from these characters, there are three couples, like Bassanio's wife Portia, Graciano's wife Nerissa, who is also the waitress or the attendant of Portia, and the third couple is Lorenzo and Jessica. Jessica is the daughter of Shylock. These are the characters in The Merchant of Venice. But if someone asks you, who is the hero of The Merchant of Venice? Undoubtedly it is Portia. Because Shakespeare has crafted the character of Portia in such a way that no other woman, or may I say lady, in all the dramas of Shakespeare come closer to her. In this play particularly, The Merchant of Venice, she surpasses even the dominance of Antonio and the likes of Shylock to such an extent that in the later part of the plays of The Merchant of Venice, her character really dominates. Such is the exuberance of Portia. Particularly about Act 1, Scene 1. I have started making PPT. I will post it with the line by line explanation along with the question answers. You have to understand what Act 1, Scene 1 tells us about. I hope what my interaction is with you will help you to read Act 1, Scene 1 first before I give the PPT explanation of it. As you start reading it, you will start cherishing and rejoicing the literary quality of Shakespeare. The paraphrase of Act 1, Scene 1 will be given by me so that you start taking interest in The Merchant of Venice. So, Act 1, Scene 1 starts with the melancholic nature of Antony. He is sad without any reason. Shakespeare has not given any particular reason about his sadness. It may be, we speculate that he may be sad because of his ships which are in the ocean, or it may be because he is sad of some unknown reason related to Bassanio, because Bassanio is his bosom friend. These are the reasons which are not exemplified in the text. However, as soon as Antonio is introduced in the drama, Salanio and Salarino comes and tries to console him by giving lame excuses related to his melancholic nature. It may be that he may be sad because of his huge investments which are vulnerable and are at risk in the sea. So they also try to sympathize with him by identifying their own personal problems. Had they been a merchant like Antonio. But Salanio and Salarino cannot come closer to the heart of Antonio, because as soon as we find Bassanio along with his friends Gratiano and Lorenzo arriving in the scene, we see Antonio opening up his heart and talking more about his personal problem. And we also see Salanio and Salarino moving away from the scene. Here we find Lorenzo also leaving Bassanio and Antonio in isolation. So somewhere some critics have written that Antonio had this penchant for Bassanio. He had this quality of liking Bassanio a bit. So nonetheless, Bassanio talks to Antonio and started revealing his own problem. He started his Bassanio started revealing his heart. He said that how he loved Antonio and see him as a mentor and as a guardian, and how he had always looked up to Antonio for any kind of help in adversity. And at this certain time, he finds out that he recalls his own childhood problem, that when he used to shoot an arrow, and when the arrow would get lost, he would shoot another shaft in that particular direction so as to find out the first arrow. And then we find that Bassanio reveals that he is in love, and that he has a penchant for a lady in Belmont called Portia. He describes Portia's qualities fairer than the word fair, and you have to look those words into the text in order. So Bassanio describes Portia's qualities and how he has been captivated in her beauty and intelligence. Now, before this, you should also be aware of how Bresciano tends to speak about the wisdom. He's a garrulous character. He talks about Antonio's unnecessary melancholic trait, and he also says, gives many examples, many similes of people who become aged and loses their charm and intellect because of perturbation. Scene 1 closes with the interaction of Bassanio and Antonio, where Bassanio requests for help in monetary terms. Actually, he had also taken money from Antonio earlier, and now he seeks help again. But Antonio makes a candid confession that he is also having no money at all, and that Bassanio can borrow money from market in his credit, and that he would help him in taking money in persuading money from. To read Act 1, Scene 1 line by line first, and then I will come up with the PPT, the difficult word meanings, and the explanation, along with the question and answers asked in the ICSE examination. Because in Merchant of Venice, you have to be careful in each and every line, because you never know which line is going to be asked in the ICSE Council examination. Act 1, Scene 1 is also important for 2021 because a question has aroused from Act 1, Scene 1 in the examination. So you never know about the questions being asked again. Thank you. I hope you take this interaction in a positive way. Hope this will create some interest in your mind. Thank you very much.